Joins us here. Good evening.
Good evening.
Look, this obviously worked for the party in Brecon. Where would you yield, though? Where would you give up on if this was extended on a national basis?
So it would have to be seat by seat. And every local party, every local area would have to look at, which is the party best placed to stop Brexit, be part of this United to Remain movement, which is now growing across the country.
Who's going to volunteer for that, then?
Well,
which of your candidates are really going to say, do you know what, I'm not really a winner?
I actually genuinely think that if there was a chance that there was another Remain party, that we would do that. And in fact, we did do that for Caroline Lucas in places like Brighton Pavilion. The Greens did it for me in 2017. That's how I got in. And it's not just about who stands, and I never said stood back, that we stood beside each other. We were putting out leaflets in local elections with half yellow, half green on them. It was very much a pact in the truest sense of the word. But actually it was a signal that it sent to the Labour Party voters to do the right thing. If they are Remain Labour Party voters, then actually the best thing that they can do is to back the Remain candidate. And in many places that will be Lib Dems, but in others it might not be.
Well, you mentioned the Labour Party. Why not do the deal with them then as well?
Because right now, Jeremy Corbyn is, the boy who cried wolf over Brexit. We still don't know if they're a Remain party or not. One day they say they are, another day they change their minds. And I have a lot of young people in my seat in particular who voted for Jeremy Corbyn last time, believing that the Labour Party was a Remain party. They just don't believe them anymore. So, I actually don't think that we're going to be in a place. We're looking at potentially an October election. Really, are we going to know what Labour stand before that point? I don't know.
But you'd run against someone like David Lammy, would you? Very pro-Remain. Very much on the same page on Brexit as the Lib Dems.
And the question for people like David Lammy is, are they in the right party? Can he stand proud on a Labour manifesto that says that it's going to deliver Brexit? And that's a question for them. What Jo Swinson has said very emphatically is that our doors are open.
What about some of these seats where, if you did have an arrangement with Labour, you might unseat Theresa Villiers or Amber Rudd? I mean, just a majority of a few hundred in those seats.
Yeah. And again, at a local level, I don't know. And this is the thing. You can send signals at a national level from party leaders. But in the end, these decisions have to be taken by local constituency parties who decide for themselves what the best thing to do. The thing is, though, if you do pacts like that, you have to be sure that actually you stand on enough things that are in common. So again, when I had the Greens suggest that this was something that we could do, and we were talking about it, I had a hustings just for Green members where they quizzed me on everything, and then they voted as to whether or not that was something that they wanted to do. In the end, it was the local Green Party that decided. It wasn't the National Party that decided.
What you're describing sounds federal, organic, giving everyone a chance.
That's
but
exactly
what
the
it
right
doesn't
word.
sound like is a national policy.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would communicate that clearly at a national level.
I think.
What would you tell people? Well, just ask your local party. They'll tell you what the state of play is as to whether or not we're going to yield to the Greens or indeed the Labour Party or indeed the SNP in Scotland.
And this is where the ground game will be very important. But there were, even at the last election, websites that were set up where people could type in, and we saw this in the European elections a lot, you type in your postcode and you knew who to vote for to be able to send that strong message to stop Brexit. I suspect that what we're going to start to see is the blossoming of many more of those kinds of things. There's already a movement like that now. It's called Unite to Remain, and they are already helping people make those decisions.
Sorry to interrupt. Lastly, does that trump people's democratic right to have a full selection of candidates?
The thing. People can decide for themselves how they vote. And the idea that you create a pact and then suddenly all the voters who used to be in your column, you just give to another party. Actually, in the end, people make up their own minds. People decide for themselves what they do. Just because you create a pact doesn't mean that people are going to follow where you lead.
Thank you. Let's bring in a Conservative MP.